All right, so we are just over a week out now. Um, this is Victor, everybody. He's the guard deer. He also chimes in and gives me advice here and there when he feels like it. If you're lucky, he might chime in now. Not yet. So, a few things that have happened. I want to talk about a few little topics, one of which is the digestive, the other is bladder, and talk a little bit about the FDA process because I know that's obviously a big thing on everybody's mind. Let me delve into the FDA part real quick. So, essentially, the process to get this through FDA approval is going to start with a group which is called EOC, which is comprised of PhDs and doctors, and their primary objective is to take things and put them through the whole FDA process. Dr. Spiel will be going for a RMAT through the FDA, which in order to do that, they will be setting up all the protocols, all the requirements, and all the things he needs to show and prove as far as the patients go. Now, he is able to take people that he previously treated, including myself and several others, and use those as essentially the case study. From there, they'll put it all together and present it to the FDA, and you'll get a yay or a nay. But obviously, we're looking pretty hopeful at this point in time, so we'll see how that goes. Anybody wants to look it up more, you can look up what it takes to get an RMAT. It's a little bit different than, I guess, your typical FDA process, but again, I don't know the technicalities behind it. I will try to research those, I guess, a little bit deeper for you. But tucking into the changes, I guess, in my neurogenic bowel and bladder, which we all know about. So, with a neurogenic bladder, you get the lack of ability to empty your bladder on your own will. It often spasms, getting smaller and smaller. So, like myself, I have a suprapubic catheter. Uh, One of the interesting things that happened today, now, mind you, I've had my accident just over 2 years now. I never had an issue with leaking or anything like that, and I've never been able to just urinate on command by any means. So after we were doing therapy today, I was sitting down there talking to the doc on the phone, and my bladder started to fill up because my bag was so full. And so I just thought, I'm just going to kind of squeeze and try to pee a little bit. Didn't think much of it. And then one of the girls that works with me came down and she goes, "You are soaked." Really? So it turns out when I was sitting there telling myself that I wanted to pee, I was peeing on myself. Now, that may sound like a bit of a pain in the ass, but that's a huge step forward, showing that there is some kind of change going on. Like I said, I haven't had any leaking, no voluntary, no accidental in probably a year and a half. So I know it's not something that just kind of randomly occurs. I'm going to test this probably tomorrow. I'm going to block the old catheter off and see what happens. In regards to the bowels, so again, part of the neurogenic bowels is that as you digest food, it no longer is being pushed through your intestines. And so often it gets stuck in one spot and then it gets very dried out and then you get constipated and impacted and that whole line of shit that happens. The past 3 times I've done my bowel program, which again, not to get into too much detail, um, the process was very quick. I do a digital stimulation with little mini enemas. And when the nurse was doing it, she said that there was stuff right there and she could feel it. And almost immediately after, I was able to evacuate my bowels really on my own free will. I've always been able to push a little bit, but not enough to get anything going. And I also use this massager. It's a pulse wave massager. And so I'll hold it on my stomach on the side and then it kind of vibrates everything loose and gets it all moving. Didn't have to do that. Like I said, just a matter of 5-10 minutes, it came out and off we went. So another thing I want to start testing is if I'm able to actually start the process on my own without doing the digital stimulation and all that. That would be a huge change. It'd be